Hello and welcome to the Autocar Show. Now Renault have really struggled in the Indian auto market. Their joint venture with M&M and the Logan didn't quite create the right image for them. And then the vehicles that they launched on their own like the Koleos, the Fluence and the Pulse haven't created too many ripples either. They need something big. Well, this isn't exactly big, it's a compact SUV, but will it be the game changer for Renault? Well, the Duster has hit quite a sweet spot. There isn't anything else like it around at its price point. If we are to make comparisons, there are other compact SUVs like the Premier Rio, but that's way smaller and it's at a much lower price point. Or then you have the Skoda Yeti, which is far more premium. Yes, we can say that this sits in the same price bracket as the Mahindra Scorpio, but then they're two different animals.
This compact SUV looks a whole lot bigger than you would imagine. It certainly doesn't look as diminutive as the Yeti. It looks every bit an SUV with the flared wheel arches, scuff plates, huge clearance and the metal roof rails. The squarish headlights and the wide slatted chrome grille, the strong chin with the plastic cladding give the Duster quite a brawny front. The side is pretty straightforward with no nonsense doors and no styling flourishes. The body swells in a nice way out to the tail lights, which are quite small but enhanced by the blister effect on the body. The chrome bar on the tailgate proudly carries the name in bold. The Duster may look a little plain Jane to some, but it does have road presence, there's no denying that. Open the door and you realize where the cost cutting begins. There are simple lift-type handles and no rubber beading on the doors. Whilst the interior is not as sparse as the Logan, it still doesn't feel premium enough. The plastics are shiny and hard, and the grain looks like it's from a lower level. The seats are flat and hard too, but they do offer enough support. Now, where the cabin lacks in class, it makes up a bit in practicality. There is a nice recess above the very deep glove box, and in addition, a dash-top storage above the central console. You get 5 cup holders and pretty decent side pockets. However, they're only good for maps or books, not for bottles. There is a curved instrument binnacle and the rotary air vents that are very functional. Luggage space is good for its size. The flat floor doesn't have any intrusions and the lip isn't too high, making loading quite easy. You can increase the luggage area too by folding down the one-piece backrest of the rear seat.
However, there are some quirks on this interior like the AC controls that are a bit low because they fall behind the gear lever, so a little difficult to access, and especially this rotary flow controller, which is, in my opinion, a bit fiddly to use. But the real puzzler for me is the outside mirror adjust, which is underneath the handbrake, so one really has to pull the handbrake up to access it easily. Now, come this side because I want to show you something else. Now, one normally has the steering mounted controls on the boss of the steering, but in this case, they're actually behind the steering on the stalk. So, I can't really see them from where I'm sitting. Difficult to access. I don't know which one I'm using and what I'm pressing. And honestly, you know, when you're driving, they're not that easy to get to.
Whilst the one we drove was the RXL or the mid version with the fabric seats, the top end will also get leather seats, seat height adjust, rear AC vent, 4 wood panels and airbags. The rear AC unit was an extra add-on for India and it looks just like it was an afterthought too. Well, now that we've seen the car inside out, let's get started. The Duster will be available with both petrol and diesel engines. The petrol will be a 1.6-litre engine with 102.5 bhp and 14.8 kgm of torque. The diesel will be a 1.5-litre engine available in 2 states of tune, 108 bhp and 84 bhp, with 2 different price points of course. We took the 108 bhp for a spin. This is a familiar engine that we've seen across Renault products, although here its torque has been plumped up a little more than the Fluence's to 25.3 kgm at 2250 rpm.
However, the performance really doesn't feel as linear as it does in the Fluence. There is quite a bit of lag, and you do have to push past the 2000 rpm mark to feel the kick of this engine. Once you do, you get the surge, and the gear ratios work quite well after that to keep the engine in the 2000 to 4000 rpm range, where you really don't feel any hint of the lag. But if you want to get an urgent move on and you want to put your foot down, you do find the necessity to drop a gear or two every now and then.
The Duster's light 1308 kg weight means that real-world performance is actually pretty good. The in-gear figures we got show it to be quicker than the bigger, more powerful XUV 500. With a 6th gear, the Duster cruises very comfortably. And though the gearbox is light, it's a little notchy to use and the clutch feels heavy too.
This 84 bhp engine works on a fixed geometry turbo, and it doesn't have the lag that we felt in the other one. It's got a far more linear power curve, which means it's more responsive in the initial stages, and I feel that this one will be better for city driving.
Whilst the engines are capable, the beauty of the Duster really lies in its underpinnings. Based on Renault's Hardy B platform, the Duster is built tough. This platform helps it take on Martian-like road surfaces with ease and gives it great dynamics as well.
You can really throw this Duster around corners and have fun with it. Body roll is contained, tires grip well, and you really get a sense of confidence that's beyond your expectations. You can push harder. The only problem I have is with the steering. It's not very direct, and there is a bit of a dead zone at the straight ahead position.
Thanks to its monocoque construction and rigid frame, the Duster is superbly sure-footed even at high speeds on highways, and you always feel secure. I was having super fun behind the wheel on the lovely winding roads around Munnar, but I had to give it up for a bit to check the back seat.
Well, despite being a compact SUV, this one has very good space at the back. It's got decent leg room, good headroom. But what's really the best part of this back seat is the ride quality. It's just brilliant the way the suspension works to dismiss all the bumps and potholes that the road throw at it. It can handle the worst of blows. This car is really capable enough to take on our Indian roads and still keep you comfortable in the back seat.
Be it flat road or undulating highway, the Duster's composure is remarkable. It hands out a nice flat ride and the suspension works quietly too, which is really a bonus. Whilst it feels great on roads like this, it will also be light and easy for city traffic. Now, in the search for a good location to stop, we found that the Duster can definitely do a spot of off-roading without a worry. It's got enough clearance and approach degree to go over quite a lot without any fuss at all. We haven't done a full fuel run of our own, but Renault claims that this diesel engine will give around 19 km a litre for the 110 bhp and 20 km a litre for the 84 bhp version. Throw in the 4-year or 80,000 km warranty that they offer, and the Duster makes a whole lot of sense.
Well, it looks like an SUV. It's got good ground clearance, and as you can see, it can do a fair bit of off-roading as well. But still, it's so car-like in its manners. It's light and easy to drive when you're in city and you're in traffic conditions. And the ride and handling is simply superb. It's got good performance, it's got a decent sized boot, and it's comfortable and spacious in the back seat. So it's got a lot going for it. But, there is a but, we felt a little let down by the interiors, especially when we consider the pricing on the top-end variants. And the pricing as well, we feel that if Renault really wanted to make that big impact, then this needed to be a little more aggressively priced. Still, there's no taking away from the fact that they have hit a sweet spot, and this is a very capable little SUV. So for all of you out there who've wanted that SUV and thought that it's either too big and bulky to drive or thought that they were too expensive, here's something that fits perfectly in, and we give it a thumbs up.
This is the Elantra. Can the Elantra hold up to the Hyundai template?
Now on the highway at higher speeds, as long as the surface is smooth, the Elantra does feel fairly composed and comfortable to be in. Power only really kicks in post 2000 RPM.